Okay, we are recording. Colt Cougar draws. Jagi from Fist of the North Star. This guy, right? So who is he? He's a real bad guy. Let's start over here. Double clicking with a stylus pen. It's not the coolest thing in the world. Right. I don't really want to explain Fist of the North Star in its entirety. So he's a bad guy. He's the brother of Kenshiro, the good guy. And he basically pretends he's Kenshiro by scarring himself on the chest, because Kenshiro has those scars on his chest in the form of the Big Dipper. And then he just goes around like mashing stuff up and being an absolute menace. He's introduced in the anime, and I think the manga as well, by rescuing a girl from being kidnapped by bandits, only to steal the girl for himself. He's a real bad guy. And his mask is, and the shady looks he does, like through the eye holes when he points his sawn-off shotgun at people and asks them to tell him what his name is, because he wants them to say Kenshiro, because he's trying to character assassinate his brother. Yeah, he's a bad guy and I love him for it. So we will be trying to get the likeness of the helmet. I might be going for a little bit more of body language in how I build his poses, but maybe not. I actually forgot to grab a picture of him on his crazy ass Harley motorcycle. But yeah, we don't want to go nuts. This is really about the costume design and the feel of the character. I've even got like some fan art here. One's really good, one's not so good, and I just want to see if I can place myself in the middle. If not today, then just something to keep in mind. Right, what? Yeah, I am going to actually have to extract information to figure out Jagi, but it might not be the worst idea, because I've got a couple of images here that are his face without his helmet. Because Fist of the North Star characters have weird face proportions. Typically they have these like massive chins. Right. Let's get into Manga Studio. We don't need that. This is the thing about having limited real estate. You gotta do what you gotta do. He's got wild eyes. That's probably the only thing that actually matters. And no eyebrows, because that's a really easy way to show that people are nuts. It kind of, or bad. They're real bad guys. You get that with Akuma. You get that with this guy. When they point sawn-off shotguns in your face, that doesn't hurt either. Yeah, I really should be doing daily sketches, like daily, because you can never do enough reference work. I was watching a Jim Lee stream, and he was just talking about how he feels weird if he's not like drawn for a couple of days, and I'm like, what do you mean? You've got this career of drawing Superman and Batman and stuff that goes back a good few decades, and even you need to keep on this daily. I don't do that. So I mean, I do, but not quite right. So yeah, when people tell you the secret is practice, that really is the secret. You got to sit down, you got to do it. You got to do it today, you got to do it tomorrow, you got to do it all day. Got to keep at it. Information, not detail. That's all we're about. And then how does the helmet sit on that? Like that. A masterpiece, to be sure. And this is what he looks like when he takes his helmet off. I mean, spoilers. This is an old anime slash manga. If if you don't know what Jagi looks like at this point, you don't care what Jagi looks like. Kenshiro, of course, master of Hokuto Shinken, not to confuse it with the name of the show. He basically was going to make Jagi's head explode, and Jagi, because he knows Hokuto Shinken as well, managed to like basically put his skull in a vice so it won't explode. So he's in constant pain. And the only thing that's actually keeping him alive is his pure hatred for Kenshiro. Like I said, he's a fun guy. And yeah, just again, it's these crazy ass eyes. Like it might be a bit of an exaggeration to say, but typically right here, this is Jagi. This is all you need. And then it's just about like not mucking up the rest. Yeah, Fist of the North Star and manga in general, even though there are simplifications in some of the forms, there's typically a really strong understanding of light and stuff. Your art teacher's right for telling you shouldn't be drawing this silly shit, but they're also horribly wrong. Which isn't exactly surprising, considering their pay grade, as it were. Right, so let's actually get on with the helmet. Just, I think this is actually an image I did use for Daily Sketch a long time ago. There's not really much need to zoom in, is there? So I can see that it kind of like give him a mouth, and then it kind of, the helmet dovetails out a little bit. It's got, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I noticed that the helmet's not exactly identical in all of the images I have. So let's just concentrate on the broad strokes. Eye holes, and then there's something across the nose that goes into like talon or something, and there's 5 of them. Actually, that should be a little bit more narrow. And then the 2 additional ones on the end curve forwards. That's kind of, yeah, it's more like that. It kind of curves with the chin. Yeah, maybe more like that. Nothing like having to foreshorten bizarrely shaped metal in every picture you do of a guy's face. So 3 circles on the side, that seems to be a consistent thing. And yeah, there's like a, they are all angular. Well, the 5 middle ones are angular. And then the ones on the end are flat until they curve in. And then there is like some kind of feather thing going on like that. Nah, it's just not a picture of Jagi without the eyes, is it? Ah, but because this is quite a nice picture, it would be a good idea to do credit to that. I mean, if a guy looks at you like this, you know you're in trouble. You're half past trouble. Dare I say you're already dead? No, I wouldn't say that. Yeah, when you're ready. Alright, so bring it out a bit more. It is quite a big helmet. That's what she said. Yeah, too much touring YouTube videos. Don't ask, don't tell. He's a total Warhammer 2 YouTuber. It's just one of the many meme jokes he has. I highly recommend. But only if you haven't got anything going on with your life. And then of course his face is in shadow, because that's kind of how light and dark work. Yeah. And he wears like a sleeveless jacket thing, but we'll look at a different picture I think for the shoulder guards and all of that stuff. And his scars. Just for comparison, that's how he's drawn in the anime, with his with no ambiguity to the shadow of his chin. It's just you'd think he'd like dipped his chin in tar or something. Slight differences here. So I was looking at this one. Yeah, see the feather shapes a slightly different color. I think the one on the left is from, I mean it says Toki Gaiden.png, so I think this is from not the Fist of the North Star manga per se, and this one probably is. I mean it's a nominal difference. You know, it's funny I didn't get a picture of his bust. Because if we're just looking at his upper torso, that would have made a lot of sense. So let's just kind of have a little look at the full body. And then we'll just kind of figure out what we, you know, how we put his costume on. Good old. Oh, hold on. Is this set to ratio? That's from the last time I think when I was shrinking Akuma. Like I said, these are the crutches that will they will help and hinder you at the same time. I never make room for legs, and when I do typically draw legs, the musculature is a little bit completely off. So actually no, let's zoom in here. Just adjusting the Cintiq before it collapses on the stand. It's amazing how much you can do with applying so little pressure to a stylus pen. But it's the law of averages. Eventually it's gonna slip and tip. 5, yep. Right, so bare chest. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think it really matters where they are. It matters that there's 7 of them though. And that they mostly look like the Big Dipper. Let's drop that one out. He's got his little waist jacket thing going on with his spiked pauldrons. Well, are they pauldrons if they don't cover the shoulder? I don't know. Three. Yeah, I would actually have to take some time to actually think about how this curves and sits on his body. Fingerless gloves, I can see that. I'm not sure if his knuckles are actually coming through there or if they're like padded. Then of course he's got to have his shotgun, right? So, not that I know how to draw a shotgun, but you know. Right, that one opened on a different screen. Let's see how this works. Multiple monitors I do not recommend. But typically it's a consequence of something that's a good thing in the long run. So bare upper arms. Okay, here we go. Yeah, see, this is fan art, but it's just nice. I think it's probably done in Photoshop. Probably not with that many variations of brush type. Like I look at his left foot and just this line here is it's the kind of line that I get when I work in Photoshop using the kind of brushes, like round-headed opacity variant brushes that you know you typically get when you typically want to use when you're doing digital art. Very concept artist friendly brush. You can apply a lot of kind of texture and quality without actually as much work as, excuse me, as you might think it is. And he has a codpiece, of course, because why not? Knee pads, shin guards, because M. Bison can't have a monopoly on them. That just wouldn't be right. Probably should have grabbed a look at the sprites from that Crazy Fist of the North Star game I played, that beat 'em up I played a few years ago. It was so horribly unbalanced. But it's like a niche beat 'em up of a niche game that I'm not entirely sure it even got out of Japan. I'm not even sure how I played it. How did I play it? But yeah, it's not worth worrying about. Have we got any other in here? Nope. Right, so that's Jagi. Let's actually maybe have a bit of workspace control here that's qualitative. So I feel like I have to get this guy on the Smiley Show. He's just. I like real bad guys. You know, you can get villains who are like sympathetic. Something bad happened to them and then they became bad, and then you can get guys who just want to see the fucking world burn. Jagi thinks he's like in the first category, but he's totally in the second. In his mind, he's always the victim, but he's just a bad guy. So I kind of imagine him coming on the Smiley Show and instantly being tension just about anyone, but obviously with Vegeta. So, you know, Vegeta's all like, who the fuck is this guy? In fact, it would... this is one of those things when you've got an idea in your head that's both like a close-up and a long shot at the same time. That happens to me a lot. So I would imagine like his look back would be some kind of ultra suspicious cliche Jagi look. Let's see what I actually bloody remember, right? So feathers on the side, 3 circles, big talon nose. Yeah, see, because this is at an angle, does this curve or does it stay straight? Let's do it like that. Yeah. The secret to making dudes look nuts is to give them like really small eyes. With just weird irises, really small irises as well. So this is 1. He has too many lines on his face that aren't like normal lines. He's work to draw. I see why he got killed off so fucking fast. Lol, that is a spoiler, but yeah. You'll just have to make do. Right, we don't want that to accidentally look like a smile. The thing is, you should never... when you look at a picture of Jackie, I think it's like you shouldn't even realize they've drawn anything under the helmet. And then I was kind of imagining him with like some hell aura as well. Is he looking the right way? He's a guy with posture as bad as mine as well, I think. Kenshiro's typically going to be... his shoulders should be that wide, right? You know, that Fist of the North Star thing is like super top heavy. But yeah, this is like, you know, straight back. And then I think of Jagi. Yeah, see, that's making me think that that's a composite image. I should watch out for that. I think of him like crouching, slumped, Yeah, this is not an easy angle, especially for a guy who's bloody terrible at foreshortening. I should probably want his body leaning back. So maybe it's more like that. Sitting in some kind of chair. One leg in, one leg out. I mean, how hard can sawn off speed to draw? Like half the gun's missing, right? So helmet. I should have just drawn him standing slumping, but you know, you think one thing, you draw another. I'm spending a lot of time doing logo design with people who can't even figure out simple shapes in their head. I've literally been given designs to do. I do them and they're like, oh, I know I sent you this picture for you to copy, but that's not what I was thinking in my head. So yeah, this is the path less traveled. I do love me some scribbling though, if you can't tell. Actually, if that's an arm, it would be higher than his ass, wouldn't it? Maybe like up here or something. Whatever. I did not come here intending to draw chairs. Alas, alas, I am defeated. That could still be a composite image though. Are we learning to draw Jagi yet? Yeah, that's pretty much identical, right? I think we nailed it. You know, I actually do have an image with Jagi with his shotgun. It's a good thing we're already in spoiler territory, because yeah, Kenshiro hits Jagi in the arm, and when he next pulls his shotgun, he can't stop pointing it in his own face. It's this is hilarious as it looks. I know what we should do. We should just think about color. And let's try and keep it a little bit cleaner, maybe. Or maybe we just double layer it. We have construction lines underneath. And then we come back in. Yeah, I am aware of how wooden my poses are, because I don't typically think about how I pose the characters while I'm worried about, you know, things like anatomy and that. I really need to do a lot more comics where it's like action, action, action. It's not a very normal thing to see characters like facing forward. Like, you know, with this kind of line that defines their entire movement. People are typically more in the middle of doing something, you know. You know, like what would this be? This would Yeah, this would be that whole like he's praying for mercy kind of thing. See, but then it wouldn't be side on like that. I do like the turnip pen as well. It's quite flexible. So let's shrink it a little bit. I do love me a good sketch. This is why I can't clean my stuff up, even when I want to. I love it when lines are carefree and like not even considered at all. Right, no, so he's holding on to that. That's the whole point. This is the "Who am I" pose that he does before he kills people, because he wants them to think, and the people watching to think, that it's Kenshiro, that he's Kenshiro. Then he's probably more menacing with narrow eyes, right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, so that one should be narrower, and then still equally placing things, maintaining balance and keeping accuracy. There are so many things I don't do you need to do to be able to actually do comics. We'll get there. And we'll all look back on this in a couple of years like, damn, son, you uploaded that trash? I'll be like, that's right. Because you need to know, if I can do this, you can do this too. And we can do some collaborative comics together, and we can conquer the world. It'll be great. See you there. Yeah, he should really have monstrously bigger arms than I'm giving him. Not like Rao big, but like he's a big guy, and everybody's like super wide in Fist of the North Star. I've been drawing Thunder Thighs all week, so I should be able to nail it here. This is that attention to detail that sets me apart, right? Well, actually, that is true. It's that lack of attention to detail. But details are for noobs. We don't need those. That's how they want you to work. It's no good. Right. So let's just. It's not that we're worried about what we're doing. We just want to make sure that the lines we have are like just the lines we want. I do think of him like one of them like Yakuza heavy dudes. Like he's just a straight criminal doing criminal things. Look at me concentrating, isn't it great? This is the power of art. I'm a lazy guy, but even I want to, try and get it right every once in a while. And these wounds were probably inflicted by stabbing himself with his own finger. That's how Kenshiro's wounds were made. Shin stabbed him with a super powerful martial art technique where you just stab a guy with a finger and they die. He survived 7 times because he's a real bad motherfucker. Which is a bit of an understatement if you've seen Fist of the North Star. He's like... He's like Deus Ex Machina all by himself. Like, I think it's one of his trademark sayings, like Fist of the Hokuto Shinken is invincible, right? He does get into a fist fight with a tank and he does win. That's you can YouTube that shit right now. I probably sent you that clip. It never gets old. Hold on. This is supposed to be connected to him. Right. Back it up. There we go. Yeah, the turnip pen is got a nice weight to it. It's I'm not having to be particularly clever here, and it's just got enough, like, actually, does it have any tapering? A very, very, very subtle line weight is being applied. And it's like I'm just some guy. Yeah, I don't care about the details of his belt. I'm just some guy working on a bit of paper, putting together something, like some cartoon art, Garfield or something. And it's not really of any major consequence how, like, poorly rendered anything is. I mean it does matter, but it's not like if I was airbrushing this. You as the viewer, you do a lot of the work for me, which is just how I like it, of course. Shouldn't be that flippant with my lines, but hey, in for a penny, in for a pound. This is 4, 5, and then maybe like 1 here. One more. Alright, that's it. That's not the standard we've decided is acceptable. If you take one piece of advice away from this, always remember to protect your junk. It's important. Do it for your kids. Do it for the future. That's a Colt Cougar for your health. Let's just add some action lines because I don't know. And some guy like, I don't know who you are. Who are you? Actually, maybe I don't want him to have lips per se. But then how am I going to draw his teeth without lips? You know, I heard Jim Lee say when he'd finished roughing up a page, if I could just get paid to do this and not do all the stuff afterwards, I'd be a very happy guy. Yeah, I know what he means. Storyboarding is great. It's like having to render it to a professional level. It's bad enough just trying to like put logos together in Illustrator. I shouldn't really have shaded the... I mean, I'm applying colour anyway. Why am I even worrying about this? This is where Jim Lee would come in and just like do a background with like a ruler and just throw stuff out, and it would be really, really cool. Oh, okay, you can kind of just make lines and it kind of turns into something. Okay, what do you know? Watching other people draw is kind of helpful when you want to figure out things. Who knew? Right, let's just do my favorite thing. And just, actually, yeah, I am going to have to look at the anime stuff. Everything else is black and white. Red guards, dark blue pants, tan codpiece, gold faceplate thing. I do love me some lasso fill. That's not the right color, is it? Yeah, so this is how I flat. I just take a lasso. I mean, in Manga Studio, there's two lasso tools. There's a lasso selection tool, and then you can just directly fill in the selection area as you select it. And I default to that a lot, because it really does suit the level of effort I'm kind of looking to put in. And I should change the eraser type to soft. Just come in like that. So fill. I mean, what you would do in Photoshop is you would just select all the areas you want to be one color, and yeah, you see I haven't even got the lines there. And once you've selected them all, you would just use the paint bucket tool and fill them all in. And you'd probably keep all of those colors as a separate layer and then do that again on another layer, so that if you actually want to change the hue or the saturation of the colors, it's not a big deal. Or outright change the color to another color. That's as simple as just picking another color and then you going to the paint bucket and then just clicking on the areas. So that, you know, if these colors were separate, I could erase that little bit that went into the blue without actually erasing the blue as well. Browns, oranges, yellows. Not the easiest thing to find. This is why I struggle with skin tones. Oh wait, he's got one of those, doesn't he? Maybe more like that. That might be a bit too zombie. Kind of close to that tan. But this is the thing, I can... Yeah, you know what, maybe I should use the other lasso selection tool. Push delete, Control D to deselect. and just do the skin tone on the second, separate layer. Put it lower than everything else. Now I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, his arms are going to need colouring too, no? Is his belt red? Not on that one. Colour pick with Alt. Drop that lasso fill like a savage. What do I want to do with the eyes? Probably want to shade the under chin but not go full black, and of course you can shade everything else, but we're not. Well, I've started, so let's just go. Black is not recommended for shading skin tones unless you're going to apply it in a multiply layer. Am I? Oh, not a multiply layer, an overlay layer. Well, it's like colour burn. Whoop, that's a hard erase. This is something I've been experimenting with recently. I'm enjoying it for the time being because it's like one and done. This is because this is only on the skin, because the thing with this is it adapts to the colour you put it on. It's not bloody perfect, but for a guy who's not looking to really commit, there you go. Let's get a little bit of a background, I think. Erase the eyes. Oop. See what I just did there? I can't do that in Photoshop right now, and that's why I'm not working in Photoshop. There are other reasons too, but color pick. Yeah, since we don't really care too much, let's just and what is this? So let's just come down here, just throw in some random shapes. Sure, it's time for your bus to take you to work, so let's hurry this up. Let's do something about those spikes. And technically they're on like pads that I haven't really drawn. Yeah, Jagi. Close it down. Yeah, I mean really, where's my pen? This is it. This is all you need. Don't worry about the rest. That was just me trying to fill time. Big helmet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 on the end. So 7 spikes, feathers on the side, 3 dots by the eyes, eye holes. Middle one is also an upper nose guard. Helmet is quite big. Maybe you shrink to taste. Has a codpiece, shin guards, sawn-off shotgun, but does he? You'd want to give him somewhere to put that. I guess he keeps it on his bike. Spike shoulders, 7 scars on his chest because fuck that Kenshiro guy. Terrible body posture. And that was the roughs, wasn't it? There we go. Jagi for beginners, of which I am one. So there you go. Fist of the North Star character 1 done. There will be more, don't you worry about that. I will see you next time, and maybe then you'll learn something. I sure did.